Very busy weekend and another busy day today for Donald Trump, the president-elect, as he works to form his cabinet and fill other key posts in his administration. On Saturday, 2012 GOP nominee Mitt Romney met with Mr. Trump at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. He may be in consideration for the job of Secretary of State, even after trading critical words with the president-elect during the heated campaign season. Today, another one-time adversary, Rick Perry, was spotted at Trump Tower. The former Texas governor may be a contender to lead the Defense or Energy departments. Also meeting with Mr. Trump, Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin, who could be chosen to head the Interior Department, and former U.S. Senator Scott Brown, friend of ours, in possible contention for Veterans Affairs Secretary. Lots and lots here. Let's first look at a soundbite from the meeting with Governor Romney, and then we'll get Kimberly's reaction.
We had a far-reaching conversation with regard to various theaters of the world where interests of the United States of real significance. We discussed those areas and exchanged our views on those topics. Very thorough and in-depth discussion in the time we had, and appreciate the chance to speak with the President-elect and look forward to the coming administration.
Did you bury that action?
The things that it's going to be doing.
Kimberly, a little bit of the odd couple meeting on Saturday.
I know, it was interesting, but you know, I like that we kind of had a front row seat to it, to be able to see it happening in real time, because at first the media was criticizing, oh, this is chaos. It didn't look too chaotic to me. It looked pretty orderly. It was interesting. The media was there. It was transparent. But then on the other hand, now, instead of talking about that it was in total chaos, they're saying, oh, this was a media event. It's turned into the whole, you know, Trump show, et cetera, et cetera. You can't please them, no matter what you do. But he is having a nice, orderly process, and I like to be able to see who's coming in, who's in contention, to be able to discuss it and read about them and see perhaps, you know, what some of the feedback is about it. And this is an example of Trump putting his money, substantial amounts of it, where his mouth is, by reaching out and meeting with Governor Romney, somebody who was his adversary during this process, to say, look, people who criticize me, I will, in fact, work with them and sit them down at the table in an earnest effort to govern this country effectively, as I promised the voters.
So a wide array of people. Gutfeld, you said you wanted to talk about General Mattis, who came. We have some sound.
Oh, great. I love sound.
Okay.
And tape.
All I can say is he is the real deal. He is the real deal. Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
Will he have a place in your administration?
We're going to see. He's just a brilliant, wonderful man. What a career, and we're going to see what happens.
All right, Greg, your thoughts?
I love anyone with a good nickname, and Mattis has three. Okay. He has three nicknames: Chaos, Warrior Monk, and Mad Dog. Amazing. Maybe it's me, but I don't think these nicknames portend a buttercup who's going to be too concerned about collateral damage.
Yeah.
I think this is, I mean, if you ever read any of his quotes, he's like a quote catapult. My favorite one, he said, is, be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet.
I mean, he's my ideal man.
Yeah, he's your
I can't
he's your
even
soulmate, Kimberly.
tell you.
And you know what it is? I think his primary rule of engagement is to kill. He understands the USP of a soldier. He's not sending those guys out to be social workers.
Right.
He's sending them out there to complete a mission, and the mission is a mission that so many people don't want to admit to, but he understands it, which makes him kind of, he represents everything that President Obama avoided in his nominations, which is the ugly, brutal reality of the world.
What do you think, Eric? I mean, there's a lot of people coming through. They've made some announcements, and I suppose, but just from reading the tea leaves, it looks like they might wait till after Thanksgiving to announce a whole bunch more.
Yeah, not sure. So he did. He met with Mad Dog Mattis. You had to love that. You're going, yes.
That is one of my nicknames, by the way.
Mitt Romney, yes, Chris, that's great. Today, Scott Brown. Newt Gingrich apparently is there right now. But the one that stood out for me today, Tulsi Gabbard. I thought that was fantastic. He met with a Democrat who questioned Obama and Hillary Clinton's Syrian strategy, and I think that was very smart that Trump reached out to her and talked to her about whether, I don't know, maybe bring her into the administration in some form. But it shows that he wants to win. He wants to do what's best for the country. I thought there was a great few minutes he spent with her.
Let's get you in here, Geraldo. What do you think?
I think General Mattis is an excellent choice for a reason that I don't think many people recognize, aside from the fact that he is an indomitable warrior. I saw him in Iraq and in Afghanistan. He's a real soldier. He sees ISIS as the primary threat to the United States. That's very, very important. But he also is an advocate of the two-state solution. He believes that Israeli settlements in the West Bank are counterproductive to the peace process. And I think that when you take that point of view, that may be why he doesn't get the nomination. But if he does, I think that it bodes well for President Trump going forward in the Middle East. In terms of Mitt Romney, the only thing I worry about, I like that they buried the hatchet, but you have to remember that Romney believes Russia is the prime threat to the United States. He said that. I remember Obama said, you're redredging your 2008, whatever it was, in his debate with Romney, said he was old-fashioned to still be focused on Russia. Trump wants a détente with Russia to go against ISIS, the real enemy, as I do. I agree with Trump on that. So I wonder substantively, aside from the burying the hatchet stuff, if they're not on different wavelengths.
Kimberly, let's play a little sound from something else that Vice President Mike Pence, who we're going to talk about a lot, so you want to stick around on the show because we have something later on that everybody's been talking about all weekend on the Hamilton play. Mike Pence was on Face the Nation on CBS yesterday morning talking about possible ways to go against ISIS.
President Donald Trump is going to focus on confronting and defeating radical Islamic terrorism as a threat to this country. And we're going to have a president again who will never say what we'll never do. I think in President-elect Donald Trump, you have someone who believes that we shouldn't be telling the enemy what our tactics or our strategies are.
The enemy already knows that waterboarding is not something the United States does. Is it going to be reassessed by the Trump administration?
Well, I think the president-elect made his views on that quite clear during the course of the campaign.
I think one thing, Kimberly, he could have added is that the Trump administration will follow the law, but we will not going to tell the enemy what we're going to do. But otherwise, pretty tough.
Yeah, and good. They should be, because this was the message. It's consistent, on point with the campaign, so he nailed that landing. The Russian judge would even give him a 10. So that's what he should be saying. I'm not going to tell anybody what I'm going to do to you if you're very bad. Let yourself, live in fear about this and suspense, because you have to have all tools on the table to be able to utilize to your advantage, especially in the face of non-compliance with your adversary. Okay, so that's it. No more light pink line drawn in the sand. When it's red, it's the enemy's blood that's spilled. Just ask Mattis.
Greg, I wondered if the environmental community today was freaking out that maybe somebody from Texas would end up at the Energy Department, and Rick Perry apparently meeting today with that being a possible job for him.
Yeah, again, though, I can't help but think if this is some kind of kabuki theater like that President-elect Trump is inviting all the exes over that spurned him, and now he's rubbing their face in it. Because I just can't see Perry. Perry was one of the first and the hardest at the beginning. But I want to talk about the fact that there are more women. That you're seeing more women being up there, and it's going to be hard for liberal critics now to use that as an excuse when I think there must be maybe half a dozen women that are being looked at, right? I think so. There was at least
Probably.
4. Yeah, so I mean, what are they?
Haley
So
was
yeah,
one,
they're going to have to demand.
Fallon.
They're going to have to say, okay, what can they demand now? Lactose intolerant vegans? Are they going to have to go for height challenged, warlocks like myself?
Yeah, I was going to say you.
Yeah, they're going to have to find, they're going to have to, they're running out of criticism. The more you see Democrats. He had at least 2 Democrats there, maybe more.
It's fairly common to have a Democrat join an administration, Geraldo, because I think it really kind of started with Bill Clinton when he had William Cohen as the Secretary
I
of
actually
Defense.
saw William Cohen endorsing the selection of General Mattis if it comes to that. Rick Perry, I don't see. I remember him sitting right here. I happened to be a co-host, and he was running for president. And everybody reminded him that he didn't remember the Department of Energy when asked, So now
Maybe that's good.
But I think that kabuki theater might have hit it. The one that really scares me, though, is Chris Kobach, the current Secretary of State of Kansas for Department of Homeland Security.
I know why.
Because he is the hardest. First of all, he's for the Muslim registry, which I am opposed to. We had a Muslim registry from 2002 to 2003. People forget that. And as a result of it, 14,000 Muslim immigrants who had overstayed their visa were deported. But then we found, the Bush administration found constitutional problems with it. They did away with the program. But he is the hardest liner in terms of deportation. I think he'd go after the DREAM Act students, and I've debated him. He's a very, very intelligent, Ivy League educated fellow, very smooth, but I think he'd be a disaster from the point of view of the immigrant community. I think that he would be a disaster, Chris.
Last word to you, Eric, on any of them?
No, one thing that is concerning me is there's rumblings. First of all, John McCain said he would push back if there was anyone that was trying to push waterboarding, to reinstitute waterboarding. That's an interesting conflict that may happen. So whoever gets appointed will go through the process. Right now, the Republicans are at 51, so you can lose one Republican vote, and that's it. And that's assuming whoever gets appointed isn't one of those Republican votes. So anyway, so that would be
like Jeff Sessions.
Well, unless you replace it with another Republican.
Alabama, Governor,
right, and Alabama's pretty safe. But in a place that may not be safe, you may, and Louisiana right now is still up in the air. You're not sure who that final Senate seat's going to go to. Very quickly, though, one of the most disturbing things I read today was a Wall Street Journal had a piece saying that President Obama was looking to shore up the Iran nuclear deal prior to leaving. He's got 59 days left. And for me, this is very, very scary. They really need to push back. And yes, transition is important, but someone needs to get front and center saying, hey, whatever deal you're about to make with President Obama, we're coming next and we're going to renegotiate that deal.
There is a lot more to come on that, too, and including also not just the Iran deal, but also some warnings from some to President Obama about Israel and not making any decisions there.
Moving the embassy to Jerusalem.
Or other things, right.